Let me also bring in Major Mohammed Ali Shah, defense analyst, who's joining us on the broadcast. Major Mohammed Ali Shah, distressing news, of course, coming in, after Independence Day, when the nation has celebrated 75 years of independence. This kind of incident coming in is not just distressing for the Kashmiri Pandit community, but the nation as a whole. How do you view this?
Firstly, Uday, my heartfelt condolence to Mr. Bhatt. I can see him here, and he's in the car. And sir, I am really, my heart goes out to all my Kashmiri Pandit brethren, my entire nation. In fact, it is a sad personal loss for all of us. It really is sad, and by condemning and by saying it's very sad, no, you do something, which is something means what we have done. Our security forces have done all that they had to. We have struck them hard. We have done Operation Sadbhavna, which means winning the hearts and minds of the people over there, local people over there, getting them on our side. But again, it is just not stopping. It has reduced, all right. But as Mr. Bhatt said, I empathize with him. He said they cannot be sitting ducks. Yes, they cannot be, and I totally agree with him. And it is really sad that these kind of targeted killings, when they single out Kashmiri, but why? Kashmir, kya unke baap ka hai kya? That is like really it's very distressing, Uday. And keeping this in mind, I wrote this open letter which you also read widely. In fact, it was shared in 2019 after the Pulwama attacks. I opened a letter to Jaish-e-Mohammed, rebuking them and telling them, hitting them hard as to what they do is very, very disservice to Islam actually. There is a Kashmiri film which is not yet released. In fact, Moji, which is on Kashmiri terrorism, and it talks about how the Kashmiri youth are, some of them, as earlier they were being radicalized and they were sent across the border for training, they would come back. That has to end over there. You kill one head, 10 heads would be born, unfortunately. Now what is the remedy to that? By nipping it in the bud, by killing the finishing of the ideology. Their silly ideology, the stupidity of showing them dreams of hoods and Jannat and all, nothing of that sort is going to happen to any of them. They would be used and thrown and chucked away. And this is like really, really sad. When you see our countrymen, irrespective of any community, when this is happening, heart goes out, heart cries over there. And let me tell you, these people, these perpetrators, these terrorists, these militants, or the rogues of the highest order, it is not a cause. I refuse to believe that the guys who are fighting for this, it's for them. If they are listening, of anyone from their gang, I would say gang, or the group or the faction is listening, let me tell you, here is Mohommed Ali Shah telling you all that you are doing great disservice to Islam. You are doing something very un-Islamic. You call for jihad? Do you even know what the meaning of jihad is? They do not know. They do not even know what the meaning of jihad is. Jihad means a struggle. And they are really, it is about time that people, they should realize. Because you can take a horse to the water, you can't make it drink, unfortunately. So these people, I have fought many of them. For 2 years. I was deployed at the border in J&K. Hardened, radicalized, rigid. Now what is the way? The way is actually when they actually get convinced that no. As our Prime Minister says, instead of having an AK-47 in युवा पीढ़ी के हाथों में, इनके हाथ में कलम, पेन या लैपटॉप होना चाहिए. Shiksha, education, that is the way forward. And they have to be, education means not just going to a school or college or obtaining a degree. When they are made to understand, I think the films are a very powerful medium over there. A film is watched widely, and nowadays everyone has a mobile phone, everyone has an internet, and there are a lot of films coming out on YouTube as well. And when a strong message is sent across, like this film I'm talking about, Moji, is made by a friend of mine, Vicky Malhotra, and the protagonist is Hiba Shah. So they talk about how the Kashmiri youth, anyone who picks up arms will meet a fatal end, and that is what he's asked for. Like Major Gaurav Arya, one of my seniors from the army, he wrote an open letter to Burhan Wani, and he conveyed a message loud and clear. Anyone who signs up for terrorism, that is the day he has signed up for his death. And if anyone fools that youth and tries to show them big dreams, sorry, not happening. he is going to go straight to hell and nowhere else. So Bhatta, I am generally, from my heart, I am saying, we feel really very sorry for your loss, and it's a personal loss for the nation, and I hope we see better days to come over there.
Absolutely. Independence Day, saluting our freedom fighters and of course our braves who continue to keep the nation safe. But today, very sad news coming in regarding these Jawans and police personnel.
Very sad, and our heart goes out to the bereaved families. And let me tell you, Uday, the toughest job that I have done while I was serving in the army, the toughest job was not standing at the border or facing the enemy bullets or fighting insurgency or terrorism. No, the toughest job was when I had to call up the home of a martyr and inform their families that your husband, your son, your father is no more in this world. You can imagine how difficult, how tough it would have been for me to there. Now, when we saw the 39 personnel, armed forces personnel, that is not from the army, of course, I'm in the ITBP and the police, 39 armed personnel, 37 belonging to the ITBP and 2 of the J&K State Police Force. Chandanwadi to Pahalgam, that entire area, it is like, how it is in hills, especially Fislan, that area, as the word, in a way, it would suggest, it is Fislan, slippery. But yet, a thorough inquiry has to be conducted again, because whenever a military vehicle, or even if I have a fracture in my arm there, while playing basketball, there would be a court of inquiry, whether it's attributable to military service or not. Similarly, a court of inquiry would be held, a board of inquiry would be held about this accident, what happened, the cause of the brake fail, and what exactly happened. There's a standard protocol that in the army, the armed forces, when I say army, I mean the armed forces, I'm including the ITBP and the reserve police over here as well. So there's a standard SOP that in case of a brake fail, what are the steps to be taken, what are the protocols to be followed, how do you prevent it? You cannot, if a brake has failed, you cannot prevent the vehicle from going down, but how you can cause the lesser damage, basically. So my thoughts over there are, the video that I've seen, it doesn't look like, it's something from a high altitude. It looks a bit, but one cannot really cast aspersions at this stage until the inquiry result actually comes out. But yes, it's a matter of concern that, it's, for example, if I am martyred in the battlefield, it's a matter of pride I would feel. But if something happens to me in an accident, it's even more sorry. It is like, and 6 fatal casualties so far have been reported. I'm fearing and keeping my fingers crossed and praying to God that we do not get any further report of any further fatal casualty, in fact, over there. So yes, my thoughts are, heart goes out to the bereaved families and the families of the soldiers who are injured. Of course, they would be watching us in the news right now, and I would like to convey a message to all the families. Please hold strong and please pray to the God Almighty.
Yes.
And I'm sure, I hope, rest who are wounded.
Absolutely. We certainly hope that they will recover fast.